Welcome, everybody. It's the Survivor Fiji finale.
Let's
Yes.
freaking go! I'm sick.
Let's
I've like taken the
go.
last 2 days. I've taken the last 2 days off. Well, we're on a Monday, so I took Friday off and today, and I'm still feel just terrible.
Yeah.
But you know what? Brightens my day. A little bit of Survivor, and I'm looking forward to watching this and probably taking tomorrow off too. So let's freaking go! I'm excited.
I believe this will be our 10th Survivor finale we've done together in
Wow,
on
yeah.
Tarqaron.
I think you're right. Right?
Ever since
Yeah.
Thailand,
Yeah.
the goated finale episode of Thailand.
You mean the one where I was rooting for literally anyone except for the last two people? I was just grasping at straws that whole time.
And they were grasping at like coins in that final immunity challenge. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. So previous on Survivor Fiji, who was the last person voted out?
Well, they tried to get Yao-Man out, but he played his idol
true.
and avoided it. So they ended up getting rid of Stacy, right?
Yes, and her mom too.
Right. Oh, she did not have it going on.
No, she's certainly not. And now we're here, finale episode. A lot of intrigue and
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty excited. It's like that's what I mean. There could be anybody. It's really anybody's game when you think about it. The fact that Jenna Maraska won Survivor Amazon, it could be anybody's game, really. But to me, my top, I think it's going to come down to either Yao-Man, Earl, or Dreams. Dreams is my dark horse winner for this. I know Boo's been doing pretty well on some immunities, but I don't. To me, there hasn't. I don't want to say he's been like under edited. Maybe that would be some of the stuff against him maybe winning here, but to me it would not feel even if he was brought in my final three, like it would not feel right for him to win this game at all. So I don't even think
scary. It's such a scary thought too, right? It's like
Boo. It really is. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm really terrified. I don't even know what his real name is. I don't even remember. He's just Boo to me. He's just Boo to me. That's all.
Do they even have? They just call him Boo in the intro too, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's not like Papa Smurf situation. Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Smurf or Gary. I was like, oh, okay. It's not like Papa Smurf. It's not like It wasn't like what's her name there? Poverty. No, it's not like not like Poverty. No, I was more thinking about what's her name? Flicka. Where they kept calling her Jessica.
You don't have to say such a profanity though. You don't have to throw out a slur like that.
Flicka. Oh, jeez. Jeez, man.
Christ.
Chill out. Chill out, bro.
But,
all right.
I mean, that's not a bad spot to be in when you have like 3 out of the 5 final 5 that you would be at least okay with winning.
Yeah.
And there's not always the case, and sometimes there's just like one. It's like this person or bust. But
yeah, I think regardless of who of those 3, I think who wins, I think it's going to be an exciting. It'll be a satisfying end to a mostly okay game of Survivor. I think I've kind of stated like throughout it that I think this has been kind of like it's been all right. But I think more, as I sort of predicted, now that we've gotten down to like the big alliance stuff, this is when it's starting to get legitimately interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And of course we'll get our whole jury back for the final tribal council and everything.
Absolutely.
All right.
Get Rocky. Get Rocky's revenge here.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right. So as always, click the link in the description for the highlights of the reaction, which will be an extended reaction for the finale, and come back afterwards for discussion. All right.
All right. See you then.
There you have it. That's the Survivor Fiji finale. Earl wins 9 votes to 0.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Yeah, indeed. Wow. That was quite the twists and turns.
Earl
I
never. What's that?
well, I mean, like, I don't know if because like Dreams wouldn't have even been up there. I guess if who do you think would have won if he hadn't have made that decision? I think Yowman might have.
Yeah, man, probably. I don't know. That's what
Yeah,
everybody seems to be
maybe.
indicating. But so Earl
Oh wow.
Earl never received a vote against him the whole season, and then he
No.
got every vote for him in the finale.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That was. I think he played a pretty dominant game overall. I mean, he was clearly it was him and Yowman were the true masterminds of the game,
hmm
and not even the wild card of Dreams. Not even he could
yeah,
stand
I
up
mean,
to him in
okay.
the
So
end.
you said you don't think anyone can respect his decision. Let's talk about it. I mean,
Yeah. To me, it's like you have to. I think the reason why I say that is just because like he's been changing his mind. Like he's been clearly, everyone has seen it. Everyone has actively seen him change his mind constantly throughout the game. And there's nothing until his plea, there was nothing that indicated that he was just playing everybody. Like there was no thread or hint of a master plan or anything like that. Like it really felt like a split second decision he made at the end, just to be like, this is the only chance I have,
mhm.
which is understandable. That is probably his only chance because he would have been voted out. But so when you consider that it was a split decision, that it wasn't necessarily he wasn't playing Yao Man this whole time, because I felt like if he had, it wouldn't have been actually difficult for him to do. He may have played up its difficulty, but then he wears his heart on his sleeve too much, that like seeing him actually make that decision to go back on his word, a word that he made very public to everyone, Yao Man made very public. It's just it's hard to, if you're in the jury position, it's hard to respect that decision. At the same time, you have to make the I felt like he could have made his case better by being more upfront about that. By being more upfront, yeah, I did sort of waffle a little bit, but like I ultimately came to that decision because this is a game. This is the decision I have to make. And instead he was kind of hardline, like, no, I was playing him the whole time. But it's like no one has bought any of your lies throughout almost this entire game.
But another
So
element of it is the fact that they did not know it was a final three until they were at that immunity challenge. And
mm,
so basically, what they're asking him to do now is give up he's literally, they're going to vote him out when he gives the immunity to Yao Man. So he's going to give up his chance at $1 million
wouldn't he have,
to be voted out.
wouldn't they have done that anyway? Even if it had been a final two, wouldn't they have potentially voted him out?
Well, yeah, potentially,
That was the
but
entire
there's at
that
least
was
a
the entire
chance.
that was the entire point of that risk. The entire point of the risk was of doing such a thing.
Right.
The entire point of the agreement was the agreement that
Yeah,
about that whole thing.
but maybe he could have convinced himself that, okay, well, it's not guaranteed they'll vote me out because we still got another vote. Like, he could convince himself to do that, but when it's literally a surefire thing, either go to the final tribal council or get voted out, and you have to choose, make that decision. When
Yeah,
knowing that Yao Man made that deal strategically to position himself in the end and vote Dreams out, it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask someone
it,
to decide to do.
it is a lot to ask. Um, an awful lot to ask. Yeah, I mean it's a lot to ask, but I mean that's why you don't take deals like that. Like if you're to me, it's like if he hadn't taken that deal, he would have had a much greater shot in the end of, because like the whole stakes of that whole thing is all resting on sticking to your word. Like that's multiple days of I can't remember exactly like what day that happened on. But that's like a lot of days of a promise being kind of hung on there. And like alliances are broken, promises are broken. This game is part of the game. But like that's like a big public one. And I guess to a degree, I guess maybe some of that is you could put the blame a little bit on Yao Man for making it a more of a public spectacle. But that was a way for
Yeah.
him to sort of ensure himself a road to victory. Um, but at the same time, Dreams didn't have to have said yes to that. It's maybe a little tough in his position because he there's a need there.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be extremely difficult for him to say no there, but it's you dangle wealth in front of somebody, you dangle a car, something that's needed. Wealth is something that is needed. Life-changing amounts of money. It's hard to say no. And so it's like I can respect the original deal, but like not holding your end of the bargain is like even in Survivor, I don't think I can respect it. That's just me though.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's it's
As,
it's
as
I think it's all because of just the kind of player he is. Like I feel like had he been actually like someone with genuine agency through most of it and not kind of given it by happenstance by people's mistakes, then maybe we would be talking. But like in sense of like, can I respect that decision? But yeah, seeing the game as a whole, I don't think I can.
But we've known this about Dreams. Dreams has never been a man where I tell you, I give you my word, and I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do. I'm gonna decide at any moment
Yeah,
what's
but
best.
right, and that's a risk on Yao Man. Like if I was, I think it was a extremely ballsy of Yao Man to do. Like it was a. I think that was kind of a mistake in the end because I think he probably didn't need to have even done that to have had a shot at the final four. That was his perceived need, but I mean, so I don't even know if I would have done something
Right.
like
Well,
that.
this is the
Like
thing.
that was
Dreams,
already
because I think at the time when he made the deal, Dreams was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that." But then when he had time to think about it, he saw a confessional. He's like, "You know what? I don't think Yao-Man was just doing that as a favor for me." And he pretty much exactly clocked what Yao-Man wanted to do by making that deal. And so then when he's thinking
yeah,
about that, it's like, well, there's that. So then he actually tried to get him out at 5 so that he wouldn't have to deal with this at all.
right.
And then he pulled out the idol, but
Right, and that was a clever loophole around it because there I don't have to break my word, but I can still
it's
kind of
yeah, exactly.
that's something I can respect because that's devious. That's a devious part of the game, and that was his idea.
Hmm. It's tough ultimately when he ultimately gets to the final tribal council and doesn't get any votes, and Yao Man could have been there to make it more interesting,
Yeah,
but like he didn't know that, so it's like he could have won a
yeah,
million dollars and then just chosen not to by giving up immunity. So it's definitely one of the most interesting like final four things we've had. Like
yeah. That
made the
whole
finale
everything
so much
around
more
that.
interesting, and the fact that it happened to work out that way, where he actually won that final four immunity too.
Yeah,
So definitely spice things up for us. And Dreams has been doing
yeah.
that the whole season. He's been
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's up there. He's like an all-timer Survivor player just for the sake of making this season interesting.
yeah.
He definitely like this season would not have been the same without him at all. Gonna be a name that I remember for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
I
I
am
yeah,
Dreams.
God, I am Dreams.
Uh,
So
He's not a good Christian man though. That's for
no, apparently
sure.
not. And apparently not according to
To Boo, who is known
you
as the
do. Yeah,
Christian man of the
yeah.
season.
Boo, you do have to separate a little bit of the game from real life, and so on and so forth.
Oh wait, we
But
need to talk about Alex. What the fuck is going on with Alex?
oh my god, yeah, what the heck was that? Where'd that come from? And I'm being
Ridiculous.
like, oh, do you need me to say it in Spanish?
Like
Eduardo, translate
yeah,
for me. It's like,
like
what the heck? Where did that come from?
what
That
a
was so
horrible,
rude.
what a horrible look. Like when you went out, everybody's like, okay, he was the underdog. He tried his hardest. Nothing
Yeah,
bad to say about the guy. And then he
it was a
just
good
comes
game.
out in his final jury thing and just ruins his whole. Like just makes him
Yeah,
look like a piece of shit for over
yeah. I was like, that's
Cassandra,
like
as if
this.
I don't know. This is just like when Mookie, when he got voted out, was like, I hate Cassandra. She was like so mad at Cassandra. Like, what's going on here?
Because they thought she was like over. Because there was like the time she like overheard something. There was like that one time her and Stacy were like sneaking in the bushes or whatever, right?
Yeah, and
Wasn't there
then I
something they
guess
were doing
yeah,
there?
there was, but then she also, I guess she didn't go with Alex when he tried his last plea. I don't know, but she's never done
I don't
anything
know.
remotely deserving that.
Yeah. I was like, she's just like a
Just
sweet lady. I
loving
don't
woman.
understand. And then Lacey like came fire. I mean, she's just I never want to hear her utter another single word in my entire life ever again.
Yeah, insufferable.
Just
Truly insufferable.
I, I'm I'm sorry, but I don't think this is just editing. I think you're an insufferable human being, and
Yeah,
I want to put you on a rocket ship and send you to the moon. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
yeah. Like literally,
That was
just literally, Dreams called her out on
awful.
it too. It's like, you call
Yeah,
me, you're just saying I'm dumb, right? Like this is your question.
yeah,
You're just saying I'm dumb. How many zeros are in a million? Okay.
yeah. It is six. She's like, oh really? Is it? And it's
Like,
like,
oh wow, you
yeah.
got it.
I think
Yeah.
you're the dumb one because she seemed to maybe think that he got it wrong. I think she seemed to think that he got it wrong, and it's like, no, he actually got it right. If you're asking for how many digits are in $1 million, that's
Look,
seven.
if you asked me in the beginning of the season who was gonna do like this hate Cassandra Dreams hate speech, it would have been, my money would have been on
Yeah,
Stacy. You know.
yeah, Stacy, absolutely, because she was kind of mean to them, and then she sort of came around and had a little redemption arc. Good for her.
Came around. Her question was unproblematic, but then these two
Yeah,
bozos came in and take her place.
that's actually a great question in general. I'm sure they're going to delve into that question. I'm sure this whole thing because Earl won, right? Earl won. The college educated guy won, and
Yeah,
the poor guy didn't win. Like that's ultimately, I'm sure they're going to talk all about that in the reunion here, about this voting based on need sort of thing. And I think Earl's totally right. I think his answer more or less lies on what I would say about just Survivor in general.
yeah,
However, I actually don't personally have a problem if you feel the need to vote based on need. Like you can't
yeah,
control some of those parts of yourself, right? I think there's some elements of like sympathy and empathy. I think that that's okay. However, as somebody who is able to more or less compartmentalize that thing, I think I would side with Earl in like, the sense that like I mean all of us need it. I mean to a degree, it's gonna change everybody's life, no matter who you are.
right,
So
right. It's obviously, but it's gonna be hard if you have someone who's like, if you got a millionaire up there with like lower middle class person, and it's
yeah,
like, oh, let's vote based on the merit of the game. It's like, yeah, but why? I mean,
yeah, but why? But
you
why?
got, it literally will do
Yeah.
nothing for you.
So it's
That's a
right. So
different thing,
that's
but
so that's why, and that's also why like a lot of stuff isn't. I think there's a lot of people that don't talk about that kind of thing, in the game because it's like you don't want to necessarily have that played against you,
mhm. Well,
as it could potentially be.
well,
So
there's a reason Gary Hogaboom wanted to be Gary Hawkins when he when he went in
yeah,
there. Like, I don't need to be sitting there at the end
exactly.
as a former professional football player, and give them an
Right.
excuse to just be like, I'll just vote for the other person.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other highlights from the finale or the final speeches?
Rocky was surprisingly restrained.
What's
Um,
going on with Rockies? Like,
what
even
is
more like
going on with
squinty,
Rocky?
like he's on some drugs or something. Like, even more than usual.
Maybe I don't
Like,
know. Maybe he was on
eyes
some
aren't
medication or
open.
something.
Like,
He was sort of like that. Maybe he was just blinded by the light. Up like a deuce. As they sing.
right.
Blinded by the. All right. Anyway, we're getting a copyright strike for that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The final. I like the final four challenge. That was pretty sweet.
The hanging,
Mm,
and then
it's pretty
adjusting the
good.
angle. Yeah.
We didn't have these freaking buoy challenges that we had like in freaking Palau.
It's
I
funny
don't
that
need any of that
the
BS.
challenge came down to Dreams and Yao-Man too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I know. It was like you producer's dream. It was kind of awesome.
Yao-Man should have been like, "Come on, Dreams,
Uh,
just you made the deal already. You could just kind of fall now.
yeah,
It's no biggie."
no biggie.
But he's like, no, I
I don't
want to
know.
stand up
I'm
there and I
curious.
want to think about my child and I'm going to make the right decision. But if I do make the wrong decision, you better vote Yao Man out or you won't have a chance.
I'm curious in terms of. I'm sure we'll get into it when we do our review. But I am very curious about like what the general fan base's like thoughts are on this season as a whole, on like on this decision. This is such a huge finale thing. Like I
Yeah.
think this is like an all-time Survivor moment right here, of that happening. And I am curious as to if like, is my opinion popular? Is it shared? Do people kind of disagree with me? I mean, like I would like to know,
Mhm.
if if somebody thinks I'm full of it or whatever, that's fair. I mean, I'm open to like hearing other opinions on that. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know.
Sound
That's
off, sound off below for sure. But of course, we're going to be going into the reunion very soon.
mhm,
And then we'll have the review, which by the time you're seeing this, we'll probably have already compiled any questions and stuff for that. So yeah, I'm sure this will be discussed thoroughly. We'll have a lot to talk about in that.
for sure.
I
Okay.
almost always forget this every finale episode. Who do you want to give your MVP for the finale of Survivor Fiji?
You know who I'm gonna give it to? I'm giving it to Dreams,
Yes.
because daggone did he make this interesting. Wow. I mean, like, it was such an interesting finale, because I like I feel like in terms of the vote, it would have been more interesting to see Earl versus Yao Man, like in terms of like the two strategic masterminds. But for making it juicy, for
Yeah.
making Final Tribal juicy, I think this worked. Even though everyone was throwing shade mostly on Cassandra, which was bizarre, or at least those are the most heated was against her. Until we get
Hmm.
to Boo, where he was like, "Are you a Christian man?" Then I was like, "Oh, okay, we're
Yeah.
getting
I mean,
preachy now." All
it's
right. Well,
if it truly would have been Yao Man would have won over Earl, as they've seemed
mm,
to indicate, then it's truly like Dreams is the kingmaker here.
yeah,
His decision decides like who's winning the season. So,
yeah,
and then imagine if he did give it up to Yao Man and just been like, wow, he literally wouldn't have made it there if he didn't make that
yeah.
deal in that moment. It was a worth a shot. It was worth a shot.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
stay tuned for another episode coming out not too long after this one, within a couple days, probably the reunion episode. All right. And then next week we'll have the full season review. All right, in the meantime, what video would you recommend our viewers watch?
Go check out the finale of Survivor Palau. Go check it out. Our
Yeah.
reaction to the Survivor Palau finale.
Where does this one hold up in our Survivor finale tier list? Is it How does it compare to the others?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, like, this is pretty great. This
It's
is a pretty
pretty
great
up
finale
there.
overall.
Because even the
Yeah,
ones with like some of the most satisfying winners, a lot of the times it's just like, okay, well, kind of
yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing crazy there. And the
Yeah,
finale
this
is
is
not
juicy.
spectacular. Like Cook Islands, I remember the finale. It's like we had that fire making challenge, and then surprise final three. It's like, okay, Yule wins,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and I remember Panama where it ended up being Aris and Danielle, and got like the most interesting
It was,
people out right before the final two.
yeah. It was like, oh, all right, so
Guatemala
weird, but
where Rafe gets voted out. Palau where Ian removes himself. I mean, that was the epic moment where he removed himself from the equation, but then just let Tom
mm,
blow Katie out of the water. So there's a lot of, but there's some spicy ones like Vanuatu was a fun. For me, it's like the final tribal councils is the most notable part. If the final tribal council is really interesting, so like Vanuatu, All
everything.
Stars.
Well, Vanuatu, everything led up to that
Yeah.
moment. And it was pretty amazing in Vanuatu. I think that I would say the same. Yeah, All Stars for sure. All Stars the finale, because yeah, I mean, I think I would put this up there with those, in the sense that like all the drama in the episodes leading up to this came to a head here.
Hmm.
And like it did such a good job of like building up to that drama and having like a final like release of all the tension, and like it just made it really interesting. And all those other ones are the same thing. All Stars is very much like that.
Yeah,
which is why.
even though like some of the stuff in the finale itself is not that interesting, but the final tribal kind
Yeah,
of eclipses it, and
yeah.
even the Thailand finale was the highlight of that season. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, all right. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel for more. This is like our 10th Survivor season we've gone through now, reaction
Crazy.
wise at least. And yeah, click the link in the description for our social media, hit the notification bell, all that. Leave a comment below, and if you do, we'll be sure to read it on the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. And thank you for watching. All right.
All right.